You're thinking about the materials, but it's really about we're taking care of microorganisms. We're giving them a home, we're giving them food, we're giving them water, and we're giving them air to breathe. You give them all these things in the right environment, then they explode and they're gonna eat the food scraps and the brown material and homogenize the whole thing. So they're gonna transform what was once wood chips and leaves and food scraps and turn it into one material that we call compost. Browns, greens, water, and air, that's the 4 things you need to make a pile. And it's all about getting those 4 ingredients in the correct balance. Yeah, the tools you're gonna need to make compost is a shovel or a pitchfork and a tarp. And then you're gonna need a water source, whether it's a hose. A hose is probably the easiest thing to use. Browns is going to provide the bulk of the material for your pile. About more than half of the pile should be browns. Browns can be shredded paper, cardboard, straw, wood chips, dried leaves. Your green material, you call it greens, but it's really high in nitrogen, and that's the main food source for the microbes. The greens is going to provide the heat and the firepower. It's like the fuel for the compost pile to heat up. As you're layering your pile, with every single layer, you're gonna wanna add water to it. And a good amount of it, because you really want the browns to absorb the water. So with every layer, you should be spraying each layer down with water. So you're gonna layer browns on greens until your pile is a minimum size of 3 feet by 3 feet. If it's any smaller, there's just not enough mass to sustain the high temperatures. It might heat up for a day or 2, but it's gonna fizzle out. So if it's not 3 by 3, you're not gonna be able to go through the entire life cycle. It needs to be a certain size. You can make it bigger than that, that's fine, but it just has to be at least 3 by 3. So it's gonna go through 3 main phases. The first phase is gonna be the hot phase. The second phase is usually called like an active phase. And then the third phase is the longest one, and that's when it's gonna be resting or curing. So during the first phase is when you're gonna be actively turning your compost pile. For the first 6 weeks, you're gonna wanna turn it at least 1 time per week. And the reason for turning your pile is you need to incorporate air, and you're gonna wanna also incorporate more water to the pile. Those are usually your limiting factors as to why your pile's cooling down. In the thermophilic or hot stage of your compost pile, your ideal temperature range, I would say, is between 130 and 150. You don't want your pile getting any hotter than 150, I would say, and you also don't want it any cooler than 130. The reason for really wanting this hot phase is, one, it's gonna accelerate the breakdown of your compost pile. We're looking to kill any pathogens that may be present in the pile. And also, if you're using your weeds from the garden, you want to kill off those seeds so that when you use your compost is safe and the weed seed is dead. So these hot temperatures between 130 and 150 are gonna kill the pathogens and kill weed seed.